I am going to make a short video showing how I am measuring the diameter of a saguaro. It's a new field I've added. It's not required, so this is not yet a given that we will try to collect the diameter. Trying to collect the circumference is very difficult because of the spines and trying to measure how close you are. And on the big one, it's even hard to get whether it's a tape or a cloth tape or however you're trying to measure it. String, there's some options, but just trying to get it close to the dermis of the saguaro is difficult to get. It's difficult to get repeatability, to get the same measurements consistently. So I am using the Measure app on the iPhone, and I know everybody doesn't have an iPhone, so that's why it's not required. So I'm going to open up my Measure app, and the one thing I do is I'm specifying about a meter. You know, where do we measure to be consistent? And so my walking stick is just under a meter, so it's roughly a meter. And if I go, and the nice thing about this is you can see through the spines to where the edge of that is. So I'm going there, and it's a little dark on this side, but I think that's the edge right there. And 27 centimeters. So if I walk to a different spot to see how consistent I can be, I'm going to start over again with this. My measurement is going to start right there. So saguaros are basically round. That's a little bit. So 27 centimeters is about as accurate as we're going to get with that measurement. So 27 centimeters. This one, but that's about that's more consistent measurement than you will get than I was able to get with a tape or a string or a cloth tape. So that's how I am measuring the diameter rather than the circumference. And we'll go to the field maps. I've got this one in here, and there's a field I've added down here, diameter in centimeters. And I'm going to classify it as 27 centimeters. So that's the method for that new field, which is, again, just to be certain, it's not required. This is another example of trying to collect the diameter. Of course, from the diameter, we can calculate the circumference. But this is an example. I'm going to turn my camera on. And this saguaro is growing inside this tree. There's two saguaros here. There is a little bit of spacing. Might be able to get a tape or a string in between there, but it would be, the measurement would be near the top, and in this case that would be okay. So it's possible to do this, but the consistency with a tape is the issue. So this saguaro, but to try to get a measure on the larger saguaro is a real challenge, because the tree, and to get around, you're going to have to climb into that tree some. So I'm going to try to get using the measure tool, And just to show how this, now this is, I'm trying to do it at 1 meter, but this is pretty straight up and down. So this is over a meter. But I can stand here outside of this tree area and select that edge and come over and select that edge. Let me see if I can, yeah, I don't. That looks fairly good. 22 centimeters is what I get there. So I'm going to clear and move a little bit and see if I get close to the same. The accuracy is not 100%. And sometimes it's a little hard to find that edge, but I think the first one I was a little off on the edge. So this might be a little larger. 26 centimeters. So I think that is probably the best measure I can get. It's about here. I can see the edge a little better here. That's the edge. Come over here. I can see the edge pretty clear. 28 centimeters. 25 centimeters. So 25, 26, 24, those, if I look at here, I can see my history, 20, 25, 26, and the first one was clearly off. So 25 centimeters is a good estimate. And at the same time, I can come in on the smaller saguaro, get where I can see the edge. The neat thing about using this is I can see the edge through the spines. Make sure I'm not getting the edge of the edge of the behind saguaro sticking out there a little bit. So I think this is the edge. And when it's less than 1.5 meters high, rather than measure at the top or near the top, I'm measuring about halfway up or so. But most of these saguaros are fairly straight on the edges, so it's not going to make too much difference. So that says 25 centimeters. So those two are very, if you look side to side on them, you'll see they're basically the same, and I'm measuring it. If I look at this is probably just a little bit off the edge, so another centimeter, maybe 26. Let me do that again and see if I can get that edge. And that edge is right there. Well, 24. So 25 centimeters is what I would record this as. I'm not going to get any more accurate than that. And that's how I'm recording the diameter of the saguaro. With the assumption that they're essentially round, we can calculate the circumference in centimeters or meters.